So apicha satyanrute mithunekritya ayam vyavahara. This is what we have to do. The equation is between satyam and mithya. If the equation is between, the equation was between an object and object, like Rajju and the Sarsa. There also it is Satyam and Mithya. It happens to be rope, but I take it for snake. That is called any error about anything, object or the subject, it is called Satya Mithya. One is what is, the other is not. If you treat them as two, rope and snake, if we look at them as two, one is, the other is not. Rope alone is, the snake is. The rope is Satyam, is there without, you can't disprove it. And a snake, you can't prove it. See? So what cannot be disproved is rope. What can't be proved is Mithya, snake. So the equation is, that is called, when we use the word equation, we mean only distortion. Don't imagine anything else, please. If I see something, if I see the rope or snake, we call it as equation between the rope and snake. Meaning, I am equating the rope as snake. I am looking at it as a snake. This is what is called adhyasa. And this is kind of an erroneous equation. Why? Because the reversal of it also is the equation, Tattvamasi Mahavakya. This is, you see, this is a snake, is a thinking. This is a snake, is a word, is a vakya. Is not a word, it is vakya. This is a snake, is a vakya. This is a thought and this is a vakya. And Vedanta reverses this vakya through Mahavakya. This is rope. This is called a correcting equation, a correcting statement. Atma is Satyam, Deha is Mithya, and the undisprovable Atma is mistaken for the body. Mistaken means I find myself with that mistake, Anadiji. I am not the author of the mistake. I can only say what Jiva can be blamed for not correcting the mistake. Jiva can't be blamed for the authorship of a mistake. Why? Because nobody deliberately makes a mistake. So, बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. Once we say Anadi, nobody is an author. God also cannot be the author, beginning. He is not born of will. There, Naisargika. Then we can only blame the Jiva for not correcting it. If an animal doesn't correct it, we don't blame it because he can't. But somehow wherever there is manifestation of intelligence, that is called a part of upadhi. Human upadhi carries intelligence. When human upadhi carries intelligence, then he can correct the equation. And if he doesn't correct the equation, despite having the ability to correct it, he has got enough reason to understand the bluff that he follows. Even though final pramana is a shabda, but he is endowed with a lot of logic to help himself. A lot of logic. He has got enough logic. Therefore, we can only blame the jiva for not correcting it, but we can't blame the jiva for making it, because he never made it. Aticha satyamrite mithunekritya ayam vyavahara. Ayam vyavahara means this entire living. This vyavahara means, this situation of sense perception, this situation of struggle, this situation of desire, this situation of action, this situation of samsara. I am doing, I am involved, this involvement in sense perception, this involvement in desires, this involvement in actions, this universal involvement, everybody is involved. This inevitable, helpless involvement in samsara is what is called vyavahara. There is a helpless involvement in thoughts and memories and desires and actions and pleasures. Thought, action, pleasure. Desire, action and pleasure. So this vyavahara, desire is something that is not a part of the truth. It is a vyavahara born of adhyasa. Thought in its entirety is a result of adhyasa. Amazing. Thought is not a part of the truth. Even a right thought about the truth presupposes adhyasa. A wrong thought about the truth is adhyasa. A right thought, a corrective right thought, presupposes adhyasa. It is within the realm of adhyasa. If thought in its entirety is adhyasa, the whole creation is adhyasa in the truth. It's not an attribute of the truth. You can just, for understanding you can think, the noise is never a part of the silence. Amazing. We go through noise after noise after noise after noise. They're all within the context of silence. You cannot divide silence and noise. They are not at two places. The underlying truth of sound is silence. That is why silence is Srishtisthanam and Layasthanam and Sthitisthanam also. Because it is heard in silence. It's a very important medium. Like the medium of perception is awareness. The medium of perception of the inert is perceived within the medium of awareness. Something like that one can understand that the sound also is perceived within the medium of silence. It's not a part of it. Therefore this entire vyavahara, it is not a part of the truth, and yet if it is perceived in the truth, then it is definitely adhyasa. Snake is not a part of the rope, and yet if it is perceived, it is adhyasa. Therefore, if it is not a part of the truth, And yet if it is perceived in the truth, in oneself, I am not perceiving a desire elsewhere, I am perceiving it in myself. There is no use of even thinking, I am perceiving it in my brain and all that headache. It is being perceived within one's being. Of course, it's not a part of the being, but it is perceived in the being, in myself. The struggle is perceived, felt in myself. Dukkham is felt in myself. And in fact, where it is felt, there itself is the answer. Because where you see the snake, there itself is the answer. Where the problem is, there itself is the answer. There itself is the answer. I see the dream in myself, and within myself is the answer. It resolves in myself. That is me, I am the answer. When I wake up from the dream, I am the answer. And therefore, even though it's not an attribute of the truth, and still the universe is seen in oneself, universe also is seen in oneself. You say it is my perception. I am seeing a perception. I find myself with a perception of the universe, and that perception is in myself. Therefore, we are feeling the universe in our being. Yes. The sense of division is a part of that very perception. The sense of division felt between myself and the universe, that it is external, the sense that it is external to me is a part of that error. But my question is simple. All right, sir, universe is a perception. And the idea that it is external also is a perception. Everything has to be reduced to perception, and perception is felt within oneself. The universe is a perception. And if you say it is external to me, even the idea of its externality is a perception, and perception is felt in myself. Therefore, if everything is felt in the truth, and without its being an attribute of the truth, what else is Maya ji? Baba. There is nothing in one's being except one's own being. This absolute tranquility, absolute silence. Absolute silence is a very, very simplistic term. Where something else is impossible. Like in sleep, something else is impossible. The idea of something else is not possible. Where thought is not. And therefore, yet if everything is perceived in oneself without its being an attribute, then definitely it is adhyasa. What comes in the way of really moving towards this, or what comes in the way of a serious study of Vedanta is, what takes away the inspiration for the Vedanta is that the universe is something that is lying there external to me. It's not external to one's being. Like desire is not external to one's being. That's understandable. Unhappiness is not external. Struggle is not external. My problems are not external to me. They are within me. Even the universe is within, because the perception is not external. There is no universe except as perception. sight. Dream looks external. That's why, Bhagavan says in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Vishwam Pashyati Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. Says, you are seeing the universe as though it is external to you. Just as when you look at yourself in the mirror, you think this is external to me. What you see in the mirror is external to you. So what you see in the mirror, you conclude as external to you. In that manner, one concludes the universe as external to oneself. The more you think it is external, it can never make you a thinker. What really surprises you is, just as desires are felt within me, perceptions are also felt within me, and the object has no existence except as perception. If you say no, even independent of perception, if it is there, then independent of perceptibility, it should be evident. If the universe can be evident, independent of perception, then Bhagavan, there would not have been senses anyway. There would not have been any perception. If form can be evident without the eyes, then there would not have been eyes. The universe is felt within oneself, but looks external. This idea that existence is, the physical existence is external to me, dries up the inspiration for thinking. Because what touches you is, you are touched by the idea, my God, just as the desires are felt in me, the struggle is felt interior within me. The limitation is felt within me. Even the idea that I am time bound is felt within me. Time is felt within me. There is no time other than the idea that I am in time. You see. In this manner, just as these desires, etc., are felt interior to me, they are within me, the universe also is within me. If you figure out that point, it cannot be external to me, because it is felt by me. Perceptions, I find perceptions are felt in me. I see myself perceiving, that means perception is within me. My God, that means the universe is within the context of my being. This particular thought that everything is interior to the being, even heaven is interior to the being. What is perceived is within the realm of the perceiver. What is believed is within the realm of the believer. What is inferred is within the realm of the inferrer. Subject. If this is the thing, there is no sense of externality. That idea that everything is felt within me, is it not something that touches you? That is what touches your thinking. That inspires the study of Vedanta. Therefore, while studying Vedanta, to have greater and greater inspiration for it, this is one of the great breakthroughs. One of the great breakthroughs that can grip you, that can inspire you immeasurably, it can inspire you endlessly to look at yourself more closely, because The moment you discover, I am not seeing myself in the context of the universe. I am seeing the universe in myself. I am not seeing myself somewhere. I am not in the form, but I am perceiving a form within me which is not a part of me. So it is, in a way we can say, I am seeing in the being the universe that is not there. So the universe that is not there is the mithya. I am seeing a body in myself. I am perceiving a body. The perception of my own body is the perception of my own body is in myself. I am perceiving a body in myself. Even though you say I am perceiving myself in the body, but even more fundamentally, I am perceiving the body within my being. Just as we perceive a dream body within ourselves, we perceive a waking body also within the being. Because the perception of the body is felt within myself. Just as the perception of the universe is felt within oneself, the conscious being, the perception of the body also is felt within one's conscious identity. That means the body that I see in myself is not an attribute, I see it in myself. The universe that I perceive is not an attribute of my being, but I see it in myself. The struggle, the sorrow, the time, space, form, thought, which are not an attribute of my being, but I see them all in myself. Therefore, where is the equation between Satyam and Mithya? What is and what is not. There is nothing wrong in saying it is an equation between what is, the truth and the false. What is and only what looks to be, in order to avoid the Buddhism. It's an equation between what is and what is not. But you can't mistake, what is for what is not. You can only say, you can only have an equation between the truth and a distortion about it. The confusion is between the truth and the distortion about it. The very distortion about the truth is taken for the truth. The truth is not understood. Then confusion is between the rope that is and the distortion about it, the snake. The distortion about the rope as the snake. So where is the confusion? Between the truth and that distortion about it. Or between what is and what is not, or between what is and what looks to be. And ultimately it means between what is and the distortion about it. Because the very distortion about the truth, the another distortion about it, is seen as the truth. To stand as the form is a distortion about the being. I am the form is a distorted view about myself. I stand related to the endless form is also a distorted view about myself. Neither the being is a form, nor is it related to the form. If you correct its being the form, you also correct its being related to the form. When you transcend the equation, you transcend the relation. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, बहुत बड़ी बात. You can't transcend relation. You transcend the equation. You correct the equation. This is what really, when they say, yasmin vijñāte sarvam yajati. This is exactly what it is. By correcting which you correct everything, or by knowing which you know everything. Thus, it is no exaggeration to say that the entire Vyavahara is the result of Satya Mithya Adhyasa. Satyam is what is, and Mithya is the distortion about it. And the equation is between Satyam and Mithya. Plus. Someone may ask this question. Satya to hamesha hai, Mithya kahan se aa gaya? Alright, if there is a confusion between Atma and Anatma, where from did them Atma, Anatma come? Atma is eternal. You say Atma alone is. Dusra hai nahi hai. Now there is an equation between that Satyam, the Atma, and the Anatma, the form. Now where from did the form come? I say the form is none other than the very distortion about Satyam. Yes. I say, when I say this table is real, see, table which is a view about the table, it's a look of the table, the wood. So I am not seeing the wood as the truth, I say the table is the truth. This is called adhyasa. And where is the confusion? Between Satyam and Mithya. The substance and a mere look. Here it is a look, there it is a distortion. This is water. I am looking at the sand and say this is water. So where is the equation? Between the sand and a distortion about it. When the distortion is corrected, then what is sand alone? Therefore, all Vyavahara is due to, I'm going to explain it, I will simplify it, you will see. Just like that, it will become simplified. This adhyasa is something. But first of all, we have to go into the complicated nuances of adhyasa, then slowly simplify it. It's like a scholar, It's like a scholar goes into the scholarly details, having learned everything and sits like a small child. Balavas tishtaset. He can put the whole thing in. What is that? Charanamrita. Charanamrita? In a Abhishekam you have all those Panchamritam, all the 5 results, effects of a cow. Panchagavya, it's called Panchamritam. Panchagavyam. It's a very Panchamritam is a very complicated thing to make it. It's not easy. And then having made, he just gives you with a spoon. All that, you don't have to do anything. You have to just enjoy it. Haji. First you go through the details, admire the complicated nuances, and with a chaman you take it on your own hand. You don't have to give it to anybody. Yeah, that's it. I will simplify it, you will see. It is an equation between the Satyam and the distortion about it. Because nowhere can there be an equation. Adhyasa is possible only between truth and error. If this is lying on this is not adhyasa, this is association. This is sanyoga. Sanyoga is different from adhyasa. This is association. This is association between two hands. But between the body and the awareness, there is no association. Between the subject and the body, it is not association. Supposing, even if you say it is association, then you have to again qualify that word by saying it is erroneous association. Is it not? Now I am going to simplify it. We can avoid all this terminology. In fact, it is not even an equation between the truth and the distortion. It is just a perception of the truth distortedly with a sense of reality. Perceiving a reality as something else with something else with a sense of reality. That's all adhyasa. Simple definition of adhyasa. Seeing a reality for what it is, for something else with a sense of reality. It's a very clean definition. You see the rope for a snake with a sense of reality. The moment you say equation, you get into all kinds of unnecessary. I am equating a rope with a snake, etc., etc. Bhashyakara, in fact, this particular simplification that I did, it is not my genius. It is a clean translation of Bhashyakara's one simple vakya. Atasmin tad buddhi. Yes. Atasmin tad buddhi. My genius is only to overeat and go to sleep. Bhashyakara he puts very beautifully this small little sentence. Atasmin tad buddhi. Seeing something for something else with a sense of reality. That is adhyasa. Therefore, whatever you do about the snake presupposes adhyasa. Call it a distortion of a truth with a sense of reality is a clean definition. Or you can say satyamitya. Mithnikaranam means equation, entwining the truth with a distortion. Means what? I don't see the distinction between truth and the distortion. Not seeing the distinction between the truth and the distortion is called entwining, confusing. The moment I see that this is the distortion and this is the truth, the distortion comes to an end. That is called viveka. Therefore, viveka is between what is and a discussion about it. Okay. Now, the famous definition comes. We are going to take a long time. Yadrupena nishchitam sat yat tadrupam na vivicharati tat satyam. The definition of satyam is a very famous definition. The simple translation of it is what doesn't change its nature. What doesn't change is the truth. Very beautiful. Whenever we give a definition, we always give a definition qualifying it. A tree. What is a tree? It is green. What is a tree? It is tall. We always define a thing in terms of its properties. We always define a thing in terms of its property, but you cannot define truth in terms of positive properties. You can only define truth in terms of the negation. What doesn't change is the truth. The changeless. What doesn't change is the truth. Supposing the truth were something distinct, I cannot really verify whether it changes or not. I can only verify a definition of something only when that something is self-evident. Either it should be self-evident or it should be sense-evident so that I can verify the definition. A definition, if I can't verify, then the definition is of no use. Definition must resolve in a knowledge. That is the very definition of definition. When I pursue the definition, it must culminate in knowledge. And the definition of the truth is that it doesn't change. And I can verify what doesn't change because it happens to be self-evident. Therefore, we can only talk about the truth in terms of neti neti. It has no change, it has no form, it is not in time, it is not this, because there are countless thises which are a part of a distortion of it. You understand now? That it is in time is what? A distortion about it. That it is the body is a distortion about it. That it changes is the distortion. Every feeling that is contrary to the being is a distortion. And if we have to define the truth, how do you define it? Only in terms of freedom from distortion. Neti neti. Neti neti, understand, it's a very nice Sanskrit word. Naiti, naiti. Naiti means na, neti means na iti, na iti. Meaning na idam. Truth is not this. Truth is not anything that can be objectified. Time is objectifiable and truth is free from being time, being in time. This particular definition, defining truth in terms of any of the positive properties would be wrong. The only definition that we can give of the truth is that it doesn't change. That is Satyam. It's a great definition. Yadrupena nishchitam sat yat tadrupam na vyavicharati tat satyam. थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेशन है इसमें. That yadrupena nishchitam. It doesn't change its nature that it presents. जिस रूप में वो दिखता है उस रूप को वो छोड़ता नहीं है, वही सत्य है. जिस रूप में वो दिखता है उस रूप को वो छोड़ता नहीं है. मीनिंग व्हाट? It presents itself in a given form, and having presented itself in a given form, like the subject presents itself in the form of a conscious being, having presented itself as the subject, then if it doesn't change that status, the identity of being the subject, then it becomes the subject. And I will simplify this definition. I have thought about all this. I will simplify this definition. what doesn't cease to be evident, that is Satya. Yes. What ceases to be evident is Mithya. They try their best to explain away this particular thing, lot of Vyakhyakāras, but ultimately they swoop on this particular statement. These objects, इस दुनिया में सारी विषय क्या होता है, बदलता रहता है, लेकिन केवल बदलने से वो मिथ्या नहीं होता है, केवल बदलने से अनित्य होता है, विकारी होता है। लेकिन जब सुषुप्ति में बिल्कुल स्वरूप का लय हो जाता है तब वो मिथ्या हो जाती है। व्हाट डज इट मीन? ceases to be evident. That's it. What ceases to be evident is mithya. What never ceases to be evident is satya. Yes, because what changes also ceases. What changes also ceases to be evident. What doesn't cease to be evident, therefore doesn't change. Great. These definitions, unless we clinch them properly, definitions don't help us. I'm telling you. Simply by saying what doesn't change is the truth, they keep repeating, it doesn't work. But then that particular definition must become my knowledge. Definition must give me knowledge. Definition means Vastupara Vakyam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is called Lakshana Vakyam, called definition. In terms of, in English it is definition. What is Brahman? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is a definition. What is ever present is Brahman. What is conscious is Brahman, and what is unlimited is Brahman, in this manner. It is a definition. If the definition of the truth doesn't give me the knowledge of the truth, and then what else? You said meditate. Meditate on what? Again the same definition. Seeing the definition is the topic of the definition. Is the definition evident? Is it verifiable? The moment the definition is verified to be true, what is it? Is it not knowledge? What else is knowledge? I say, please, there is a jamun tree, there is a fire in the mountain, and you go there and search and you find it. And fire is something, wherever there is fire, there is a little bit of smoke, and you go there, and then you find that. You verify my statement to be true. There is fire in the mountain, and you verify my statement to be true. Now what is it? Is it not knowledge? It is knowledge. Without seeing the fire, you see the smoke and simply conclude that there should be fire, should be fire, should be fire, should be fire. It is inference, not knowledge. It is inferential conclusion. It is a conclusion, not knowledge. Yes, it is a right conclusion, but not knowledge. It's a right conclusion. There should be fire is a right conclusion. Similarly, I should be changeless is the right conclusion. I am, the I is changeless is knowledge. That which doesn't change is the truth, is a definition. Doesn't it give knowledge? In fact, by repeating that definition, one may not get knowledge, but whenever he gets knowledge through that definition. Whenever you get knowledge. That is why, We have a very beautiful shloka. Pariksha lokan karmachitan nirvena maya brahmana nastya kritaha kridena tadvijnanartham sagurumeva vidachet samittani shotriyam brahmanishta. Go to your teacher who is a Shotriya and who is a Brahmanishta. हमारा गुरु जी कहते थे, it's very nice. A Kshotriya may not be a Brahmanistha, but a Brahmanistha is definitely a Kshotriya. That is the thing. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. You may study the Shastra and yet may not know the truth, but in order to know the truth, you have to study the Shastra. You may have your eyes to see the beautiful mountain, but you may decide, you may choose to close your eyes. You may not see the mountain. Everyone who has the eyes need not see the beauty of nature. But whoever sees the beauty of nature definitely has eyes. Without eyes you can't. Everyone who has eyes may not see the beauty of, as the poets say, the rising sun. The rising sun, okay, what is the great beauty about the setting sun? What is the beauty of the setting sun? The only beauty that I can think of is it is getting evening time for my alcohol, so you are happy. 6 o'clock. Article. But anyway, everyone who has eyes may not see the beauty of nature, but to see it, similarly, everyone who repeats the definition of truth may not know the truth. But whoever knows the truth knew it only through the right definition given by the Shastra. In fact, Vedic culture is nothing but the correct definition of the truth. Nothing else. To me, as far as I am concerned, Vedic culture is nothing but a beautiful, correct definition of the truth. And to verify that definition, live a lifestyle. That's everything else is culture. That which cultures you to verify the definition is the culture. A rustic mind is cultured to understand the definition of the truth. It's called Vedic culture. Civilization is something that pertains to your glorious lifestyle. Your prosperity, your pleasures, your housemaking, all that, the civilization. But culture, once we say, only Vedic culture is culture because it cultures your mind to see the truth. Yes. Minus the definition, where is Vedic culture? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, take it away. That Brahman Dawwa, take it away. Then what is Vedic culture? है क्या? उसमें कुछ है? मुझे तो लगता है कुछ भी नहीं. क्या है? Supposing minus Vedanta, mere Karmakanda is like Christianity anyway. Minus Vedanta, Karmakanda is Christianity. क्या है उसमें? Minus Vedanta, India is nothing. Minus Vedanta, I don't mind saying it. Minus Vedanta, suppose there were no Vedanta, Bhagavan has got into trouble forever. Yes, it's a crisis for truth. Yes, minus Vedanta is a crisis for the truth. But it's not a crisis for the truth because there is Vedanta. There is a beautiful statement that reverberates the creation. Wherever there is intelligence, there is manifestation of Veda. Yes. Wherever there is intelligence, there will be self-knowledge. I think so. There will be some Shabda Pramana manifest. That is why I am going to just talk about have patience. It's very beautiful. In some place, somewhere, why is Shastra not taught to the animals? Just in a simple question. Say they are not adhikaris for Shastra. Why? They have no Shaktatvam, they have no capacity to understand. In that context, Bhashyakara says, Shabda Pramana becomes a manifest on the earth. It becomes a manifest in the minds of the human beings because it became manifest in the minds of the sages and then it came down because human beings have the adhikara to understand. They have the capacity to understand. They have adhikaratvam. They have shaktatvam and arthitvam. They are in need of it, they can understand it and they want it. And therefore, wherever there are people, wherever there is intelligence, there is definitely manifestation of Vedanta. I am telling you, minus Vedanta, what is India? Tell me. Don't tell me what minus Ganga, what is in India. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. हमारा दृष्टि से कुछ भी नहीं है. Minus this great culture of Vedanta, there is nothing. Because for me, as far as I am concerned, the rest of the things are available everywhere anyway. There are as beautiful rivers as Ganga. There are as beautiful mountains as Himalayas. There are as beautiful nature as in India. I don't think really. Between one point of God's creation and another point of God's creation there is any difference. I don't have all those. I never had these illusions. As far as I am concerned, there is no difference between one place and wherever you are comfortable, that is heaven. That's it. That's a good place. How do you say this is a good place? Only because you are comfortable there. और कुछ नहीं है. You go to America, it's a beautiful country. Only because you are comfortable there. So Rajiv Gandhi का जो statement है ना, the only one statement he made very important, very good. And somebody asked him, and how could you marry? You are such a good-looking person. How could you marry that Mataji? And do you know what he said? The beauty of the person lies in the eyes of the beholder. You see? Therefore, when it comes to the nature, sir, it is all subjective. Any place is as good as any other place. I don't think India is great for its Himalayas, for its Ganga, for its temples, वगैरह कुछ भी नहीं है. India is great because it carries the definition of the truth. Yes, it carries the literature about the truth. For me, that's all respectable about India. The great thing. Therefore, thus, definition of the truth is not something that will remain a definition. It is available for verification. We have only definition of the truth. We have no theology about God. I'm telling you. Even Puranas are not theology about God. Puranas are not theology about God. It's a definition about truth. conveyed in a pictorial way. Theology is different. Pictorial literature is different. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. Pictorial literature is, pictorial definition is different. Pictorial definition of truth is different. Theology is different. The belief is different. Our Puranas are a pictorial definition of the truth. A pictorial definition of the truth is different from a theology. Therefore, I can't really verify the definition of heaven because it's not evident. But I can verify the definition of the universe, and I can verify the definition of the truth, because the truth is self-evident. What is self-evident can be verified. A definition about the self-evident can be verified. The definition about the sense-evident universe also can be verified, because what is a self-evident? Self-evident is self-evident. But what is a sense-evident is also evident to the self-evident. What is evident to the senses is also evident to the self-evident. You have to manage to grasp it. What is evident to the eyes is also evident to the truth. Because eyes are not the observers. Even though we say eyes see, it's a more a casual statement. Ears hear, eyes see, the mind thinks. These are all very, very casual utterances. But when we become more particular about things, specific about things, then we say the entire universe is evident to that subject, to the truth. What is evident is the creation. To whom it is evident is the source, the truth. What is evident? The universe that is evident is not matter is not evident to something that is also matter again. This is, if somebody concludes that the matter is evident to matter, then it is not a casual statement. It is not a casual statement. It is a careless statement. You understand? It is careless. Careless means irresponsible statement. It's carelessness. Oh, matter is also evident to matter. It's a carelessness. People are callous. They are callous about their duty. How can they not be callous about the truth? They are callous about small things. Where to spit, they are so callous. Where to throw the dust, they are so callous. Where to throw a piece of paper, they are so callous. They are so callous. People means the jivas, individuals are callous. Even in the West, they have to be regimented to behave properly. And then when they come to India, they don't follow that. Even there, minus that, we don't find them, for throwing a piece of paper on the road, if we don't find them, then callous, jivas are callous about even small things. My question is simple. When jivas can be callous about small things, how can they not be callous about the truth? That's a very too sophisticated thing. Great value. And therefore, coming back, I am just concluding it. Therefore, please understand, the definition of the truth can be verified. When verified, that is knowledge. Where is the need for thinking except for verifying something? Tell me. Give me one context in which there is a need for thinking. The need for reflection is felt only if there is a need to verify. If there is no need to verify, where is the need to think? When the Shastra says you are already free, that means it should be available for verification. If it says you are not the form, it should be available for verification. Therefore, this particular definition, yadrupena nishchitam satyat tadrupam na vibicharati tad satyam. Truth is that which never changes and which never ceases to be evident. I am concluding. Yattu yadrupena nishchitam tadrupam vyabhicharati tad anritam iti aviyuktaha. And what changes and ultimately ceases to be evident is the false. Iti aviyuktaha. This is the definition given by the wise. Aviyuktaha, the sages. What changes, what doesn't change and cease to be evident? That is the Satyam. What changes and slowly, consequently ceases to be evident is Mithya. In fact, here there are not two parallels. Truth and false are not two parallel things. That's a contradiction. False is nothing but a very distorted view about the truth. That is why there is oneness. If false were parallel to the truth, then there will be two. False. There is no such a thing called false. Anything that is parallel to the truth will also be another truth. What exists parallel to the truth will also be another truth. So we have to just say, the false doesn't exist parallel to the truth. It is a very distortion of the truth. This gives you a prasadam, All my notions about myself are not parallel to my being. My sorrow is not parallel to my existence. My sorrow is a distorted view about my existence. My limitation is not parallel to me. My struggle is not parallel to me. What I feel, what I suffer in myself is not parallel to my existence. They are a distorted perception about myself. Therefore, it is available for correction. What is parallel to the truth will also be another truth. You can't negate it. A distortion about the truth can be corrected. That is the whole scripture about. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam